Some people think I'm a little bit nuts about my water when I'm hiking and backpacking, but you know, I just don't like violent gastrointestinal events. Just not my thing, you know. You know, the bottom line is really that you need to treat your water when you're out here taking it out of streams and out of lakes. And the question becomes, you know, what kind of water filtration or treatment should I use? So let's get into it. When you get water out of a creek, it's not pure water. There's things in it. Most of that stuff won't hurt you, but there's some stuff that can be pretty dangerous. I'm talking about bacteria and viruses and other pathogens. Cryptosporidium, Giardia, Salmonella, E. coli, enterovirus, hepatitis A. Is that enough for you? These things are all found in backcountry water. In some places it's more prevalent than others. Most of it comes from animal and human fecal matter. That's why when we do our thing, we do it at least 200 feet away from a water source. But how many animals have you seen that are following those rules? They're not following the rules. So treat your water. That's the lesson here. But what do I use? Hold on to that thought. We'll get to it in just a minute. First, for some technical details. Now, backcountry bacteria, this kind of stuff you find in the backwoods, is about 0.2 microns. That's the stuff that's going to hurt you. Pretty small, but not as small as viruses. Viruses can be 100 times smaller than bacteria. The Water Quality Association will tell you that a mixture of chemical and physical treatment can wipe out about 99.9999% of the infectious stuff that's in water. Chemical disinfection includes chlorine, iodine, bromine, and ozone. And of course, the physical methods are filters and UV and distillation. If a person can kill or filter out 0.1 microns worth of pathogens, then you're well on the way to eliminating everything in the backwoods that could hurt you. So back to the question, what do I use out here? So there's 3 steps. First of all, you have to understand your environment. So if you're in an environment that's populated with people especially, but animals as well, the more population, the greater the chances of this kind of bacteria getting into your water. So understand the environment that you're going into. That's number 1. Number 2 is to understand the capability of your treatment method. So if you're in an environment that's more populated, more danger, the more you want to pay attention to the capabilities of your filtration system. And number 3 is simple. It's just your risk tolerance, right? So do you bring a backup filtration method? Do you want to use a filter? Do you want to use chemicals? Do you want to use both? It's all about your risk tolerance. So let's review some of those methods you could use. So a couple of filters we'll talk about here. One of them is the Life Straw, and the other one is the Platypus gravity filter. It goes down to 0.2 microns. Some backcountry bacteria will be filtered by this, but it's not effective at all on viruses. Let's look at the MSR Guardian. Now that's a pump filter purifier. That goes down to an astonishing 0.02 microns. It's effective in the backcountry for all bacteria and almost every virus that you could ever get in contact with out in the backcountry. The Grayl ultralight purifier is a water bottle purifier. It doesn't have a micron rating advertised, but the way they talk about it, it sounds like a 0.02 microns, which is just as effective as the MSR Guardian for taking care of all bacteria and almost every virus you could possibly get in contact with out in the backcountry. The Sawyer Squeeze and Katadyn Be Free are really popular filters out there on the hiking trail. They go down to 0.1 microns, which is pretty decent. It's effective in all bacteria that you find in the backcountry and some of the viruses. So you're sitting pretty good with a 0.1 micron. Let's look at the Steripen Classic 3 with a pre-filter. Now that's a UV filter. If applied according to the instructions, the device manages a satisfactory inactivation of bacteria, but nothing for viruses. So let's talk about chemical treatments. One common one is the Aquamira drops, or the Katadyn microspur tablets. Now those are chlorine dioxide drops. For the right amount of time, it can kill bacteria and viruses. Another chemical treatment is iodine tablets. Potable aqua tablets is a popular brand. It's effective on bacteria and viruses, but won't kill the two most nasty things out here, and that's Giardia and Cryptosporidium. Cryptosporidium. It's too many syllables for me. Cryptosporidium. So you can see by the pictures that I put up that there's all different sizes and shapes and weights. It depends what you want, I suppose. You want to look at all that stuff, so I encourage you to go look at the specs for all this and decide which one's going to be best for you. Keep in mind there's other specs I didn't mention here, like for instance, the Sawyer squeeze. If you freeze that, it's useless forever. So a lot of people use that, so just be careful. If it's cold at night, you gotta sleep with it. The MSR Guardian doesn't have that problem. You can freeze it and freeze it and freeze it. Just don't use it while it's frozen. Thaw it out, it works fine. But the MSR Guardian is super expensive. It weighs a lot more than a Sawyer squeeze does, and it's much more bulkier. So you have to kind of weigh that out. Okay, so I've given you a lot of information here, but my advice is really just to go down in the links below to all the products, see which ones fit you best. That's it, man. Hey, I appreciate you watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. Share with your friends, like, all that stuff. And I appreciate your comments. I know there's a lot of people who have a lot of different experiences with water filtration and water purification on the trail. So I'd like to hear your comments and what your experience has been. So I appreciate you viewing. See you next time.